Howdy folks, it's Untitled here and welcome back to X-Plane 11. Yet again, I apologize for my raspy allergy voice. I'm not groggy, I just have an allergy voice today. So I'll do the best I can to keep it clear and keep my voice smooth if I can. And I also realized I need to talk a little bit more loudly into my microphone, a little more speaking with conviction. I've been trying not to yell lately and peak the microphone. But if I turn the gain down too much, it sounds like crap. But if I turn it up too much, it sounds like crap. So I have to find that sweet spot with both the gain and my speaking voice. And there's a crack from my allergy right there. Let's get above this building. There we go. So what's going on today? Today we have a very simple flight. But I also need to tell you right off the bat, since I forgot last time, there's going to be a huge gap until the next video. By huge, I mean at least several weeks, if not more. You're watching this, I believe, around August 20th. I'm recording this, though, way back on August 6th. And the reason for the gap is because we're moving, or as they say in Europe, we're moving house. We have a pretty big move planned. We're only moving 3.5 miles away, but the move itself is pretty big. A lot of stuff to pack. We purged over half of our stuff. But it still is going to take us 2 gigantic trucks to move. And all that's entailed. But before that, I have to rehab the house we're moving to. We actually own a house that we're moving back to. And we've been renting it out for a number of years, even though it's not really meant to be a rental. So I need to do some light rehab. Well, not light. Everything from fixtures to carpet to paint. So every night and every weekend, that's what I'm doing. Plus, we need to pack. So, not sure when that's going to happen. So, no time for flight sim or racing or anything for at least the next, well, in real life, over a month. Because I'm head on videos, maybe just shy of a month. So, no videos for the next at least 2 or 3 weeks. Unless I sneak one in, but I don't know how. Because as soon as I'm done editing this video, I'm packing up all my stuff. So, my studio's getting packed first. So I don't know when I'm going to even have access to it. So vlog style flight today, which means I'll be talking about that move in great detail while we're in the air. Vlog style, that's what we do here sometimes. As far as Flight Simulator 2020, I'm interested in it. I know X-Plane so well that I'm kind of overwhelmed and exhausted just thinking about learning a new sim. I know it looks better for GA stuff, which is what we actually mainly do here. So the new Microsoft Flight Simulator actually is what we do here. I just been using X-Plane because I like X-Plane and that's what existed. So I don't know. I plan to get it at some point. We'll see, but that'll be in the future because this moving and rehab costs so much that spending money on the Flight Simulator, because of course I will get the deluxe version, is like $120, just is not in the budget, and my monetization is not, made more, has not made that money. So anyway, yes, I will be doing the Flight Simulator, the new one, at some point. Will it be a couple months? Will it be a year? I don't know. But anyway, more on that in the air too. So that was a very long introduction. Half of what I just talked about I wasn't planning on saying yet, but we'll get to it in the air in detail. So anyway, let's fly this plane. Let's see, where are we? What are we doing? We are in Louisiana. We're going to fly over Lake Pontchartrain. Now I looked up the pronunciation of that word for quite a long time. I watched like 30 different people say it. I wasn't sure if it was a Pontchartrain or Pontchartrain or something, but everybody seems to say Pontchartrain. So that's what we're going to say is Pontchartrain. It feels like it should, it doesn't feel that's how it should be said, but that's how people are saying it. So I know a lot of you are watching from that area. So hopefully my pronunciation is somewhat accurate, I guess. Someone who always lived in Minnesota, I guess I had a year in Ohio, but I always lived in Minnesota, I guess. Pontchartrain is what I've heard. So that's where we are. It's probably going to take us less time to fly than I've been talking. So let's get going and let's fly this plane so we can have a vlog in the air. First thing we need to do is hop inside and get our fuel going. So that's just going to leave it like that. Real wood weather is on. And it's 7:14 in the sim. All right, make sure parking brake is set. There we go. My allergies are in full swing today. I can barely breathe. I hope I sound okay, but I want to get this video out because I'm not gonna have a video now for like a month. So I really wanted to get this video out before my break to move. All right, generator on, battery on. Oh, we're in the Ryan Navion, by the way, if you don't recognize this airplane. Check for the 3 green lights for the gear. 1, 2, 3. Barometer and altimeter. Yes, we need to know because we're doing real weather. Oh, and where are we flying to? It's in the description below. Alvin calendar. Down here somewhere. Alright, so what is the weather today? The weather today is wind calms. You can do anything you want. 29er, 9er, 8. So we'll just probably taxi to the right and then head south. 29er, 9er, 8. Let's zoom way in because we have old eyes. 29er, 9er, 8. It already was. Nice. What a coincidence. Reset flight controls. Everything's working there. Are the rudders working today? Because remember, in the last flight, our rudders went kitty wampus on us. And it caused a lot of issues. Alright, let's see. Carb heat off. And it is because... No. Carb heat pushed in. Yes. Cowl flaps pushed in. Yes. Strobe and position lights. Over here, there's strobe and there's position. Close the canopy. I think we actually use this preset to close it. And this preset for that. Yeah. Mixture full rich. Pushed in. Props in. Throttle's a quarter. Check fuel gauge, which I think is over here somewhere. Oh gosh, that's oil, manifold. There's no fuel over there. Is it over here somewhere? Cylinder head, fuel pressure, fuel gauge, way over there. I must have a thing. There it is. Yes, way over there. All right, check fuel, shut off, pushed in. I think that's this one of these red things over here. Fuel pump on is right here. And push electric starter. And we're up and running just like that. Turned on my personal volume so it doesn't bleed. I can't reach my speaker thing fell. I have like a, what they call it, a control for my speakers that sticks out. Alrighty. Fuel pump off after engine runs smoothly at 800. There is 800. Fuel pump off. Greatly increased to 1200 RPMs for engine warm up. There we go. Must decrease after temperature is 150, which is like right over there. Y on the keyboard distinct gyros. That's my own thing to use Y, so that should spin around somewhere right here. And it did, and it's not matching that one. Very nice. Next page. Next page. I cannot get my next page. Oh, there you go. All right. Taxi, make sure flaps are up. Make sure hydraulic power is on, which is lit up. So there it is. I think it's this, right? Yep. Hydraulic power is on. Lean the mixture. Spring back throttles, by the way. Lean mixture and taxi. I guess we're on taxi lights. Okay. So let's hop outside. And where are we going? This one. Okay. So what I say we're going to do, we are going to go to the right and do a little takeoff. So let's get going. So where are we? St. Tammy Regional in Covington, Louisiana. And then we're flying to Avon Calendar in New Orleans. Flying over like Pontchartrain. I've never been there. I've never been to Louisiana. Who do I know? My dad used to go to Louisiana a lot because Hurricane Katrina came through, if you all remember. I guess it's been a long time already. Wow, it's been a long time. Hurricane Katrina came through, and my dad took in this very young woman and her child as a courtesy way up here in Minnesota. How she ended up here, how she ended up living with my dad, I don't know. No idea. Maybe they met online or something. And my dad always dated women younger than me, always. So who knows? We're not going to say more about that story. That's the only New Orleans connection I ever had. And then she left him, of course. And because, like a 40 or 30 year age difference doesn't work out usually, sometimes. but not in that case. So she left them, but I've never been there. I know lots of people who have been down there for Mardi Gras and who have done Mardi Gras type things in air quotes, including people you would never ever think would do something like that. So those stories are fun, but not appropriate for this channel. And let's see, what else? New Orleans, that's all I really have about New Orleans. I plan to get there someday, but as you all know, I don't get out much. It just doesn't. So anyway, why am I telling you all this? Because it's part of a vlog style flight. Those of you who are new here, we're picking up tons of subscribers lately, so thank you very much. Some days we do flights where it's all technical. This is how you fly a plane. These are the rules. This is how you use X-Plane, blah, blah, blah. Other days are vlogs. So it's about a 50-50 mix. So you never know what you're going to get when you pull open a tall turtle video. But that's just the way it is. And I'm going to be saying that in the beginning of every video for a while because we do have a lot of new subscribers. And now that we've hit 1,000 subscribers, we're picking up not quite 10 a day, but we're picking up quite a bit every day. But here we are with X-Plane for now. So let's spin this thing around. We probably should have turned on landing lights as we were entering the runway to back taxi, but we are just going to stick with what we've got. So let's hop inside. Let's line up. Let's stop and set that parking brake. And let's see. Let's do a run up. It's been a long time. I think this is the one where the airplane runs away from me, which is hilarious. Actually, we should have done the run up then before we entered the runway. Whatever. We're going to do it anyway. No one else is here. No one's coming in. So full rich. Cowl flaps. Open. Throttle to 1700. I think this is where it runs away, right? Yeah, so we're not going to do 1700. We're not going to make it. Props full. Yes. Fuel pump on. There you are. Check each meg for drop off. So we're going to do left, drops off, goes back to both. Right, drops off, goes back to both. Pull carb heat out. And then in. Props back. And then in. Full throttle for 10 seconds. No. Because watch what happens. With parking brake on. Throttle back to 1,000 RPMs. Make sure hydraulic power is on. Check light. Flaps down, then up. So you can check it in a couple places for flaps. You can do it down in the middle. I just use my finger to point right there. Or if you use the swing view, you can do it there as well. Alrighty. Does that complete our run-up process? Yes, it does. Alright, and then set trim, which is usually set in the aircraft. Okay, ready for takeoff. Landing lights on. Fuel pump on. Confirm. Dome light off. It is. Note the time on the clock. There's our clock right there. 7:22. Full rich if below 5,000. Flaps up or at the quarter marking. We will use flaps up for this runway. Full throttle. You can use full throttle for up to 1 minute. Take off at 70, but start pulling back at 60. When we climb, we do gear up. Raise flaps doesn't apply. Hydraulic control off. Fuel pump off. At least 80 miles per hour for climb. Within 1 minute. Props back to 22, and where's my preset for that? It's over here. I swear I had a better preset for this. There it is. Props back to 22 and manifold to 27. So 22 and 27 before a minute. Okay, can we remember all that? It's been a long time. Yes, there's a record in here. We don't play it because the music is copyright and our YouTube video will be demonetized. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, props in, mixture and parking brake off. Flaps up, we don't need them. Full throttle. 22 and 27 after 1 minute. We'll review that checklist too. Let's just get in the air. There's 50, 60, 75. Landing this plane is nice with those white hash marks because of the way it lines up. Gear coming in. And flaps already in. Didn't apply. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do, we are going to come down here and hydraulic control can come off. And what else did I say? Fuel pump off. 22 and 27. So here's fuel pump off. 22, And 27, there is 27 on the manifold and 22 on the props. That seems very fast, but we'll see. Alrighty, there we go. We are flying. It is so smooth and easy to fly, even with the weather turned on today. Let's have a view outside. Look at that. And there's the lake in front of us. At least it should be the lake in front of us. And there's a runway behind us. We'll keep the landing lights on for this. Well, I like how hazy it is. We're not going to get too high because we want to see the ground. But anyway, let's start with the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 thing, and then I'll talk about my personal life, because I know 4/5 of you actually like to know about my personal life. It's fun. I like when YouTubers talk about their stuff. So first of all, Flight Sim 2020. I'm very excited because I'm a GA person, but I'm so loyal to X-Plane 11, it's hard for me to say that. But I am excited about Flight Sim 2020. I don't know what add-ons are going to be like. Apparently the default aircraft are actually quite good. I was watching Frugal's video yesterday, and he's even going to do some tutorials on how to use the sim, so that'll be good. The thing that concerns me though is he gets 40 to 60 frames per second, and his rig, even though my rig was quite high-end when I bought it a year and a half ago, his rig makes my rig seem entry level. I've got a 2080 but not a TI. I've got an i7, the fastest i7, but not an i9. I've got 32 gigs of RAM, not 64, that type of thing. So we'll see what kind of frame rates. Oh, and my computer is still above average, so we'll see what performance will be someday. But I'm kind of nervous about performance, to be honest, because I love everything cranked up. Like right now, for example, look how silky smooth this is. We're probably getting at least 60 frames per second. Now, I don't know with the rendering and YouTube how smooth it is for you, but for me, it's like glass. We're getting at least 60 frames per second with every setting cranked up except anti-aliasing, because it's not necessary in 1440, nor are those reflections cranked up, because I hate how they update every couple seconds and not constantly, which I know constantly would be impossible. But so those two things are not cranked up, but everything else is cranked up, and we're getting at least 60 frames per second with rover weather turned on. With clouds, we still get about 40. So performance, I'm kind of nervous about with the Sim 2020 because I like to have everything cranked. Wow, look at this beautiful city going on here. There's your Lake Pontchartrain. Whatever. What else about Flight Sim 2020? $120 because of course I would get the deluxe version. I am confused if the entire world is even included, because it says like the basic is 1 airport or 10 airports or something, a couple aircraft, and then the $120 version. Oh yeah, there's your highway right there under the wing, by the way. The other version, the bigger versions, you get more aircraft and more airports, but I assume it's going to be open to add-ons, or are they just going to do their own add-ons over time? I don't know. I'm sure somebody knows, but I've only watched a few videos on it. So I do plan on getting it, like I said, at some point. I will not be getting it on the release date. I will not be pre-ordering it. I have far more other priorities right now, like moving and stuff like that. So I'm just checking my suction or my manifold pressure here. Yeah, manifold is, whoops, no, wrong one. Let's use that one. 27, there, let's do 25 and 22. I have other priorities, obviously. So it will not be like, I won't be one of the first to do it, which is fine, even though I'm over 1,000 subs, and I like that number. I'm not a big player in the flight sim world or anything. People like my style for tutorials and stuff, but I'm not like someone you watch to get the latest and greatest, and I know that. That's what people like Frugal are for, and a few others. So I will be getting it, yes. I'm repeating myself now, so that's all I'll say about that. What else? Okay, so the moving stuff. So we're moving for a number of reasons. One reason is for financial sense. Despite what everybody might think, my wife and I do not make a ton of money. So we are living in a very expensive suburb, even though it's like the ghetto block of the expensive suburb. And we're in a rental that we've been renting from my wife's dad for a number of years, because we own our own house, but because of school districts and my wife thinking she wanted to be close to her parents and all these things, we moved into a rental 2 doors down from my in-laws. And it was fine for a while, for about 4 years, but it's getting to be too expensive. We do not get discounts even though we're family. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. So it's getting expensive, rent is going up. The house itself, even though it's in a nice suburb, is getting to be a dump. It needs some very, very expensive repairs that are not being done because it's a rental. So it's the utilities in this house are over $1,000 a month because there's gaping holes in the doors and the windows. So in the Minnesota winter, you try to heat it, and it's just cost prohibitive, and it's just nuts. And frankly, we're really sick of it. So we have a house in a different suburb. In my opinion, it's actually a nicer neighborhood, a nicer, safer suburb. Well, neighborhood within that suburb. The house is quite a bit smaller, but it's much nicer. It was built in 1939, but it's been modernized and everything. The layout is much more efficient. The utilities are so cheap it almost doesn't even matter. It has a brand new high efficiency furnace. There are so many trees that you never need the air conditioning, even if it's 100 degrees outside, it's cool inside. I mean, it's fabulous. It is 4-bedroom. It's a 4-2, so 4-bedroom, 4-bath, even though it's not that big. It's a 1939 house with an add-on that they did in 1988. It is just, yeah, I love the house so much. It is a very tiny yard because of the neighborhood it's in, but we can still make use of it. The kids will still have a trampoline. We'll still have swings. We'll still have a patio set. 1,200 square foot garage from property line to property line because it's against a freeway, and that was the makeshift sound wall back in the 80s that they used. But now there's a real sound wall. So now between the real sound wall and the huge garage and the fences, you don't hear the freeway at all. You don't even notice. So that's fine. It's going to be gorgeous. The other reason we're moving, not only because of financial sense, is because being entangled with my wife's family as they get older is proving to be much more challenging. They are taking us for granted that we're 2 doors down. I mean, of course we'll still help them, and they're in their early 70s, but we're not gonna ditch them or anything. But it's getting to the point now where my wife is spending more time at her parents' house than she is working. So she's working late into the night because she has the flexibility, and her time management is all out of whack, and her priorities are completely out of whack. Fortunately, I'm tied to my job for 9 hours a day, no flexibility, which is a bummer in some ways, but in other ways it's kind of nice. So it's not like your parents need to be in assisted living or anything. You would never think you would think they're in their 50s, but because we're so close, they just take us for granted, and it's getting to be way too much. The other siblings don't do anything, so we've gotten out of some things, like we've encouraged them to have their own lawn maintenance now and things like that. But as far as I guess I did just get a Facebook message from a coworker from 10 years ago. Very fascinating. Anyway, what was I going to say? I lost track. Oh, so yeah, it's just not. I mean, everybody I talk to anyway thinks we're completely insane for living 2 doors down from in-laws for an indefinite amount of time, and it's getting too much. We love them, like my mother-in-law. We get along super well. We are so comfortable with each other, and we get along so well. And I get along with my father-in-law and everything. But just being 2 doors down, my wife literally she's in her 40s, and she's starting to revert to when she was a teenager living at home. And it's just not good for people's mental health and things. So those 2 reasons we're moving. Financial sense, not like we're broke or anything, but just financial responsibility, just basic, anybody at any financial class would say financial responsibility. And then the other reason is just because entanglement with the in-laws. We love them very much, and we'll probably actually see them more, but for healthier reasons once we move. So that's that, and the house is just so gorgeous. I'm so excited. I just want to bring a sleeping bag and stay there as I rehab it. And it's a light rehab. Of course, painting everything top to bottom. If it can be painted, it will. Of course, not the wood. I mean, it's original woodwork, but like the ceilings are being painted, the walls are being painted, obviously. The closets are being painted. Some of the, whoa, weather updated. Oh boy, now we're not. Now we're in IMC. Some of the exposed plumbing is being painted a contrasting color to be on purpose. Things like that. Carpet. Oh, we had to get fumigated because the tenants for the past couple years are smoking anything that could be smoked. I'm not going to give my opinion on some things because whatever. I'm a moderate in a lot of ways, so whatever. If they want to smoke whatever they want, they can. But in the house, when they weren't supposed to, and they had animals, they weren't supposed to have animals, all these things. And so the house was a disaster. So we had it fumigated, and because it was under budget, we're getting all new carpet. So exciting. And what else is going on? Oh, replacing a lot of the basement lights because in the 80s when they finished the basement, the lighting available back then for basements was nasty. So I'm replacing basement lights, except I'm kind of changing my mind because we overdid it with the brightness. With my headaches, we cannot have some of the lights that we bought. So today, in fact, after I'm editing this video, I'm going to be going to the store and buying new lights. What else? Redoing the ceiling in the basement. It was a completely suspended ceiling, but when they did it, they just set the grid in. They didn't really secure anything. So as I was doing the lights, literally half the ceiling caved in on me because it wasn't done right. So we're going to still keep a suspended ceiling for 2/3 of it, but this hallway that's framed separately in the ceiling, I am going to do a sheetrock ceiling, and then we'll do access panels for some of the plumbing. So I'm excited about that. What else are we doing? New light fixtures in the kitchen to update that quite a bit. If we're under budget, we're going to get a new floor in the kitchen. It's just a tiny galley kitchen. An entire floor put in myself can be under $200. So that's something we might do. We'll get new hardware on the cabinets, of course. We will probably be getting a new gas stove with microwave above it. We replaced every light bulb in the house because every light bulb was burnt out. I don't know what they did for light, but literally every single light bulb in the entire house is burnt out. So I don't know. Coming up on New Orleans, by the way, if you don't know where we are, we should probably come down before these clouds. Below the clouds we can see. Plus airport is soon. Kids are getting new ceiling fans with remote controls in their rooms. What else? I'm going to have a piano lounge downstairs. I was going to have a studio downstairs, but we want the kids on the main floor, so we're going to take the basement bedroom, which used to be my studio when we lived there before. Now that's going to be a master bedroom with walk-in closet. So I'm going to have a piano lounge. That'll have the aquarium, lamps, an amazingly comfortable tiny love seat, my piano, and my bookshelf of music. In fact, I'll send you a picture once it's done of my piano lounge. And then I would have a real office. I used to have a real office at our current house, but then my older son wanted his own room, so then I was kicked out to the second living room in this house, so it's been kind of disruptive. I'm trying to work, trying to do things like record videos about my children running in and out all the time. So I will have my own dedicated office again, and a separate music studio or piano lounge, and there's a skyline, and I feel really guilty because a lot of the stuff that's happening at this new house is actually going to benefit me, and I usually put myself on the very bottom of the priority list. So even though people tell me I deserve everything I'm getting plus more, and I'm not selfishly doing things to this house, it's just coincidentally working out that I'm going to have an office and a piano lounge, I do feel guilty, to be honest. But the kids are going to have rooms on the main floor with actual sunlight instead of in the basement, and they're going to have new carpet and new ceiling fans and actual closets, which right now they don't even have real closets. So their benefit is going to be extremely high. They're going to have sidewalks everywhere so they can do stuff instead of in the middle of the street like they usually have to do. So yeah, their benefits are enormous too. My wife has enormous benefits. She'll have an office space if she chooses to use it instead of the kitchen table. She'll have a garage to park in, so she doesn't have to scrape her windows. The benefits, the pro list is probably over 100 items, and each family member gets a dozen of those items of their own benefit. I just feel guilty because I'm not used to having anything for myself. Increase throttle or add carb heat. Okay, let's just increase carb heat because we're trying to come down. Understood. Thank you for telling me. So yes, the pro list is just over 100 items. The con list, I can't think of any cons. Yes, the yard is tiny, but we can still have everything we need, like the trampoline and the swings and the patio set and the hammock and stuff. And then the front yard is all shade so grass doesn't grow. So the front yard will be hostas and a fountain and paths and what else? Well, weather's updating, come on. And just all kinds of amazing stuff. So I can't think of any cons other than my wife, once distance learning is over for COVID, my wife will have to drive the kids to school because we're open enrolled. Well, interesting how, look above the airplane, how it's not a grid system, it like fans out. That's cool. And that is kind of a bummer that I should have to drive them to school, but I will be able to do the evenings, I will be able to do the early morning drop off for one and the after school pickup for the other. So for her to really just, actually it's still going to be easier than driving to a job. So even driving the kids to school isn't really a con because it's still going to be easier than driving to a job and back for her. So that's not even a con. Well, that's the only con I can think of is that driving the kids to school, but even that isn't a big deal. My wife is having a hard time imagining the house rehabbed though. The plan was she wasn't going to come over and see it till it was done, but she can't help herself. So she's looking at a house that's been abused by renters for 6 years, which can be pretty bad. I mean, the carpets are disgusting. The walls need to be washed and painted. I mean, you know, it's gross. It was a rental under market rent. So the tenants probably weren't the most desirable, but under market rent for 6 years. But it can be fixed. I mean, I'm really good with home improvement. Like I will do everything myself except gas, just because of the dangers involved in gas. I'm doing it all myself, so it's just materials cost, and we're not going the cheapest materials. We're going mid-grade, of course. So, I mean, the plan was she wasn't supposed to see it. So she's seen it. She's seen this beautiful, amazing house after 6 years of rental abuse, and she's very, very sad about it, of course. But I'm just telling her, you know, just either don't come or just imagine the future, right? I don't even know where this airport is. I'm just sightseeing. But as far as the outside goes, we'll get, you know, it has vinyl siding because that's the type of neighborhood it's in. So we'll get it, we will get it power washed. We'll get the backyard landscaping done because there's been trees, you know, branches falling over the years that have just been stacked in the backyard. So we have 6 years of like light storm damage of like trees or branches and things that people just piled up in the back. So we'll take care of the yard too. You know, I have a plan. I love yard work and landscaping. So it is going to be the most gorgeous house on the block. And they are doing the tear down rebuild thing in that house, in that neighborhood. But once our house is fixed up inside and outside with new landscaping, it will actually look like one of the tear down rebuilds because they're not gigantic. They're not the huge mansions there. Where we live now, even though I call it the ghetto block, we are getting the like $2 million rebuilds in our neighborhood where we're renting from. But where we're moving to our permanent house, they're just doing like story and a half or small 2-story rebuild, so our house will fit right in. Alrighty, folks, that is it. I do have more I could say, but I'm not going to. That is half an hour of talking. Wow. So again, those of you who are new here, not all my videos are like this. Just a third of them or a half. The rest of the videos are technical things. But we've had so much technical stuff lately that it's kind of nice to have a little vlog with you all. Plus, like I said, other YouTubers I watch. Like there's this one YouTuber I watch. Her hobby is nothing I would ever do. I just watch her to listen to her ramble. She does 2-hour vlogs 3 times a week. I watch every one of them in my headphones while I'm doing other stuff around the house. I watch them in my headphones. You know what I mean. All right, I have no idea where we are. So let's pull up our VFR map on our lap and see what's going on. What are we doing? We are going to, where are we going? All right, so here we are, KNBG, KN. It says BG. I wrote down GB. 299.7, so this just has to come back one tick other way, like that. Light and variable, so we're just going to take whatever airport we want. Is there an ATIS? No ATIS. So so it doesn't tell us which runway is in use. So we're here. We're just going to go left and land on this short runway, which is probably going to be 14, looks like. Okay, so let's turn left now and try to find this runway. Where is it? I don't see it because we're too low. No idea. Let's get some altitude so we can see where we are, and let's prepare for landing, I guess. So let's see here. Yeah. Oh, I think it's over here, that's why. Yep, there we go. Never mind, we're not too low. I'm just not very bright about this right now. So let's do a right. Not even a right traffic. We're just going to go to the right. So for landing, what do we want to do here? Altimeter, barometer, yes. Mixture rich. Props full. Fuel pump on as we circle around. Alrighty, trying to do this while we're turning and at low altitude. This is very dangerous, folks. Props full. Hydraulic power on below 100 knots per miles per hour. Gear down. Touchdown, touchdown. Okay, so this way this works. I remember now. So at 100, we do hydraulic power and gear. And then we can do first set of flaps. Or half flaps. We approach here. We touch down here. Nose down here. So let's do that again. Hydraulic power and gear flaps. Final approach. Touchdown. Nose down. So, do we have a sight of the airport? No, we don't, because we don't know the area and we're too low. So let's hop outside. Kind of cheaty, but who cares? Plus, we'll get some more sightseeing, right? Some more sightseeing. Never too much sightseeing. Where's the airport? Right there. Okay, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna turn around and try to find this thing. Let's pull up our VFR map just to be safe. And okay, so we are perpendicular to the runway, or parallel to the runway on the other side, and that was at 320. So let's hop around here and keep looking for it. Out the wing. Again, if we knew where we were, this would be much easier, but we don't, so it's kind of challenging. I think the runway is right over there, at least the one we want, so we should be perpendicular to it now. We are for the most part. Okay, good. Otherwise, anything else to ramble about? No, let's just look at the views, look at the skyline. How nice is this? So again, maybe someday I will make it to New Orleans, so weather, but not in the immediate future. I see our runway now, so we need to get some more space for a final approach. The throttle's coming back to make us go lower. Use throttles for altitude, pitch for speed. So let's pitch up to slow down. Throttle's back, so we descend. And there is our runway right there. That's where we're headed anyway. And let's get ready to get hydraulic power out in a moment. We can put that back in probably. And come on. Line lights already on, because we never turn them off. Oh, it just says Carb Heat again. Fine, we'll keep the Carb Heat out. And let's try hydraulic power right now. There's this. And let's turn on final. Let's not get too low. What are we at? 540 feet. Where's our runway? There it is. Let's keep it in view. Alright, again, without peripheral vision, makes it a little bit difficult. First set of flaps. Gear down also, first set of flaps. Like, those are half flaps. Whoa, that floats. Holy cow, that floats. Alright, pitch down for speed, but throttle so we don't descend. Final approach speed now. We're going to go down to that first hash mark. And the runway is right in the frame, and let's see if we can have a nice landing. I think our last landing was actually good after a dozen terrible ones. So let's just try to land. I don't want to talk about it too much. If I do well, I don't want to talk about it. If I do poorly, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to land, because to me, I know everybody's going to think I'm crazy. To me, the landing is low on my priority list. I prefer all the operations and the details and the navigation part, and then flying and the visual part and the flight model itself. Landing, yeah, whatever. I even get more excited about the ground work and the ground movement than landing, but we'll do our best. 2 and 2 on the Pappy now. Let's bring this down to 75, so nose up to slow down to 75, throttles back so we don't ascend, or yeah. Alright, aiming for those numbers, even though the Pappy says red, we're still aiming for those numbers. There's our final approach speed. We will hover long over the runway. We're not doing a short field landing, so we don't need a touchdown to stop right away or anything. We'll just hover over for smoothness. So here we go, there's a final approach speed, and we are going to bring throttles back now. Slight flare, and smooth as we can. Smooth, 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 smooth. There we go. Nose wheel down gently. There we go. And let's see, flaps coming in immediately. And let's find a way to, where do we get off this thing? We already missed one exit, but that's okay. Let's find the next one. Alright, it looks like we have one coming up right here. So we are going to come off here. And let's see, what is our flight time? About half an hour or so. That's kind of a hasty exit of the runway, but that's okay. Alright, come down here and turn the landing lights off. And then what else? Well, let me get my next checklist going while I try to turn at the same time. Fuel pump off, it says, although we had it on, didn't we? No, there we go. Fuel pump off. Mixture mixture lean. Landing lights off. Note the time o'clock. Flaps ready up. Okay. So, let's go this way, and then we'll shut this thing down. Where are we going? Let's just taxi together, since we did rather taxi together too. So, let's see, future flights. I have a whole bunch of sub requests, but they're all 727 flights, and I think I'm going to do some landing practice on the 727 before I do a full flight, because even though I just said landings are like a small percentage of what I do flight sim for, it's still, when I crash and burn and bounce like almost every time. I don't crash and burn, that was once, but when I bounce every time when I used to do a good job, that is getting kind of frustrating. So I'm going to do some landing practice on the 727 before I do those sub requests. I may or may not record myself doing the landing practice, because whenever I record myself doing landing practice, I do it 3 or 4 times and it's fine every time. But then I go to do a flight and it's terrible. So I don't quite understand. I think it's just simply a concentration thing, because when you're doing landing, that's all you're thinking about. But when you're doing a full flight with slant alpha and everything, it gets to be exhausting, and then you got to land. So I don't know, but there will be some practice, recorded or not, I don't know. Let's just go in this hangar. Normally they would just dolly us in. We wouldn't go in running, but we're going to go in running. Otherwise, what else for flights? I'm just going to keep doing GA stuff. I've gone through every airliner, every airplane in my hangar now. I don't have that many, because I'd rather have a few really good ones and just learn how to fly them in all the systems, rather than having a bazillion ones that I have to relearn every time. Alright, we're in your parking brake is set. Let's see, hydraulics off. Well, where is it? That. Hydraulics is off. Strobe in position off. Whoops, this way. Idle for 3 minutes. We'll say we did. Mixture out to shut off engine. Ignition off. Generator off. Battery off. Or I did that backwards because I couldn't see. And radio off. Why would radio be off after battery and generator? Whatever. Come up here, open the door, and hop outside. There we go. Alrighty, so like I said, the future here, after I take my break to move and pack and rehab a house. Oh, there's our ride. Mr. Limo, come this way. Come this way. Anyway, yep, we're over here. Yep, come on. Come on. Okay, they have to wait. Oh, here he comes. Anyway, so the future, I have a bunch of sub requests, but I need to practice landing the 727 first. We are going to do more GA. I've been getting into so many 727 flights because I love that plane, that we haven't been doing this very simple GA VFR stuff. So we're going to get back into that more. I plan to have more flight sim versus the racing stuff. I'm doing a lot of racing videos because I like to have gaps between the flights and videos so people have a chance to see them. But for the algorithm, I think I need to have more flights and videos. So more flights and videos, more GA, practicing the 727 for the sub requests. If you have a sub request, please leave it in the comments below and I'll add it to my list. Otherwise, we're just going to keep going forward like normal. It's just there's going to be a big break to move, and hopefully more GA stuff instead of the jet stuff. Who knows? Why am I even saying this? I'm going to do what I'm going to do when I do it, how I feel like. It doesn't really matter. I've never had a plan, never had an upload schedule. I just do what I do when I feel like it. I'm not doing it for the numbers. I love the social interaction through comments and things, but other than that, I'm just going to do what I want. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the style. If you're a new subscriber, please subscribe. If you're a big subscriber, thank you for continuing support. If you found me by accident, subscribe as well. Share with your friends. Leave a comment. Leave a like to play the algorithm game. And I'll see you in a month, I guess. See you then.